Hi everybody, my name is Azid. I'm a property developer and also a coach around certain type of property strategies, namely HMOs, title splitting, and generally why invest in property. So this video, I'm going to talk about my reason for why I invest in properties and what are the benefits that I think I get out of it. And this question came about today while I was coaching somebody, one of my mentees, and he asked me a perfectly very good question, which was, why did you choose property investment as your source of investment and also a generation of financial freedom? And actually, I've thought about it and I've written a few reasons why I do it. So, why property investment? I guess the first reason for me is it provides me, or it provided me with an exit to the rat race. And what I mean by that is, we all living in the UK here, we are continually, I feel that we are continually working and continually under pressure every year on year, to work more and more, and have less and less time for ourselves or our family, and ultimately, we get to a point where we've been sold this narrative that work hard, work for every hour that you can, put a few extra hours in, and once you finish, do some extra overtime so you can get an incremental bit of pay on your salary. What they don't tell you is that incremental work that you do is generating extreme amount of income and profit for the place that we work for, but we don't actually generate that sort of income for ourselves. So for me, really, property investment has given me the ability to get out of the rat race. And also, more importantly for me, is working for myself. It gives me the reassurance that I don't depend on a scheme like a pension, because for me, pensions are great when you retire, when the stock market is high and your performance of your pension has done well. If you retire in a downturn and your portfolio value is wiped out by that downturn, it is not a good investment, in my opinion, of just having pension as a source of finance when you come to retire. Second, the other thing that they talk about is, one day when you get old, you will have paid off your mortgage, you will then be debt free, and you'll have all the time in the world and you'll have this magical pension pot that you can use. Unfortunately, what they don't also tell you is, when you are 60, 65 now, 67, and you are going to retire, what you can do at that age is not what you could have done when you were 40 and 45, or even 30 and 35. So really, the idea that you will work for 40 years and give your sweat, blood and tears to a company or an organization, pay your taxes, and then at some point, if you're lucky, to make it to 65 to 67 or 70 and retire, and if you're lucky to have a pension pot that you are retiring in a time where the stock market is riding high, then great, that story works well. And assuming that you also at the 67 or 70 years old that you retire, you are in fully fit condition, no aches or pains, no arthritis, no things that will affect your quality of life, great. You would have been one of the rare ones that have made it to that way. What I tend to see, and I look around my parents' generation and my friends and families that I've met a few decades older than me, some of them have not been that lucky. Their health has deteriorated. Some of them have not even made it past 70. So they've worked all this life, paid all these taxes, paid all the pension, and then once they retire, they die very, very soon after. The other reason is the insecurity. I mean, we are fed this, and I was as well when I was younger, by my parents, that you educate yourself, you go to university. I went 3 times to university. I got 2 masters, and that the idea that you will find yourself a great job and you'll be secure for life. That just doesn't happen anymore, and we are in a COVID age where up to 2 million people are expected to lose their job. There is no job security nowadays. There is no job for life. Depending on the downturn, depending on the economic cycle, depending on the technology that takes over your job. If we're talking about technology taking over a job like a solicitor, where things are going to be automated, an accountant, where things are being already automated, and you've got virtual accounting, no job is safe. So the idea that you are going to be in a job and you're going to be full-time employed and safe for life is complete nonsense nowadays. So, as a recap, the reason why I don't believe in it is I want to get out of the rat race. I took it as a springboard to get out of the rat race. I don't believe in working for the rest of my life, paying into a pension pot that will disintegrate it, when I come to retire, depending on what the stock market is doing. I also don't believe in it because when I'm old and 67 and 70, I'm not going to be able to do the things that I was wanting to do 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even now. And having the time then doesn't actually help you, because your kids would have grown up, your health would have deteriorated. You probably don't want to do base jumping at 70, but you might want to do it right now. So, property investment allows me to do all of these things. It gives me the financial freedom to be able to then invest. And don't get me wrong, I work hard. I run my organization. I've got people that work in my team and my company. So it's still work, but actually it's on my terms. When I want to stop, I can stop. I've got people who then run it for me, and I can take the holidays that I need and want. But ultimately, I still enjoy working, but I just do it on my terms, and I invest, and whatever I make is up to me to profit and not for anybody else. And lastly, I think the other main reason why I believe in property investment and as a vehicle for wealth generation is the fact that you can actually pass it down. Unlike a pension, you could be retiring with a pension pot of £1 million in the pot, but if you live at 10 years and you take a drawing of about £30,000, you've only used £300,000 worth of that pot. What happens is the £700,000 that's left over, it goes to the government. You will never be able to pass that down. So the reality of pension is actually, it's very much you work for 40 years, you pay in a system, you hopefully make it alive by the time you retire, you hopefully live long enough to enjoy as much as possible, but otherwise you just give it back to the state and the government takes it all again. Whereas in property investment, you actually can pass it down and you can generate the wealth for yourself today to be financial free and have passive income, but also you then create a source of generational wealth that you can pass down, and structured in the right way, you can pass it down for multiple generations. So I hope that gives you a good understanding of to my why. Why do I do it? Why did I choose property investment? What is it that I think the system around pensions, work for life, work for a company, the supposed security of a job, why is it that I don't believe in those, and I much rather take my chances and do my own thing, making my own judgment, investing my own money, and investing in an asset class that actually is pretty robust, because ultimately after food everybody needs somewhere to live, and in the UK now more and more people are renting rather than buying because of the laws around the mortgages, the multiples. The price of an average house is 250,000. The average wage of someone in the UK is around 27,000, maybe up to 35 in London. So, and the multiples that you get on a mortgage is around 4 times. So if you're earning 27 or 25,000, you'll probably only get a mortgage of around 100,000, but the average UK price of a house is 250,000. So the maths just don't add up unless you've got £150,000 worth of deposit to put down. So because of those dynamics, there's always going to be a growing amount of private rental scheme, and the need for private rental accommodation is only going to grow. Now you see the regulations changing, that the government want less and less single-owned landlords, accidental landlords, or whatever you want to call it. They want the regulations to direct that people who are owning properties are owning it in a structure where they can grow their business and not have a single let property, because they're making that much harder, because they've taken out mortgage relief for individuals, but they've kept it for companies. So in a nutshell, we know that's a great source of wealth, because you look around, the rich people, most of them own properties. The multimillionaires, they own properties. After they've made money somewhere else, they take the money and then put it into properties, because property grows every year on year. It's a basic need for humans to have somewhere to live, and ultimately, because it's becoming more and more out of the reach of others, the minority will benefit. So there you have it. The reason why I invest in properties are multifaceted, and it's for long term. You know, I don't believe in making becoming an overnight success. It's taken me 20 years to get here to where I am now, but I genuinely think I can help others achieve the same thing. I've written a book, Scale Your Wealth Through Properties, and I'm just about to launch my next book, which is Grow Your Wealth Through Title Splitting, which is all talking about how you take a big block on a freehold and you split them into single leasehold properties. By doing that, you create a lot of wealth and a lot of value creation. So I also post a lot of content on YouTube, so check out my YouTube channel and subscribe so you can see all the new videos that I post. And I also run a title splitting properties Facebook group. We're growing every day, and I only started this two and a half months ago, and we're already up at 1,000 subscribers. So there's a lot of information out there. It's about reaching out and getting them. So I hope you find this video useful, and if you've got any comments, please leave them below. Thanks, and I'll see you at the next video.